Hi, my name is Lee Kottner, and I'm going to be your instructor for MAT-110 Photoshop, and it's Digital Imaging 1 class. And it's the beginning class. So this is an online course, and this is going to be a quick orientation. I'd like for you to go ahead and watch this. Even if you think, well, I already know Blackboard, um, it's not really going to matter because a lot of the materials that you're going to find are going to be also located outside of Blackboard. So just watch this really quickly, and it's also going to orient you to the course, the grading information, assignments, and things like that, and what's expected of you, as well as how to find what you need to be doing and when to keep up with the class. Okay, so first of all, if you were to log into Blackboard, this is a really common way for people to sort of touch base with their courses. So I go ahead and put a Blackboard shell in here, and some material is going to be offered through Blackboard, and some of it's going to link out to my external instructor website. So the first thing you're going to see is it's going to come into this announcements page, and I've made some quick links here for you that are just really handy. And anytime I post announcements, you will see them below this line right here. So, and most times I will also email you announcements, but not always. So, be sure to regularly check into Blackboard and make sure that you're keeping up with this class. All right, that being said, this is an 8-week class, and that means that it is an accelerated timeline. It doesn't mean that because it's 8 weeks that we're going to do less than we would do in 16 weeks. What it means is that we have to pack all that 16-week material into 8 weeks. So it's like taking a summer school class. If you've ever taken a summer school class, you know that they are a lot of work packed into a very short timeline. So just be aware of that. If that's not what you were bargaining for, then pay attention to some of the drop dates and some of the dates where you can switch your grading status from a graded letter to pass no pass, because you may decide that it's too much work if that's not what you were expecting. Okay, so let's just get started here. The first thing is that you'll notice there are a lot of links right here. Most of those links are repeated over here, and down below there are some extras about, like contacting the instructor, adding and dropping, that kind of stuff. All right, but right off the bat, the first thing we'll take a look at is the syllabus, because that's the first thing that you are going to have to read whenever you go through this. So the syllabus, let's just sort of scroll through for a moment and take a peek. These links are all quick links that will pop you down to the specific place on this same page for shortcuts later, but I don't want you to skip them. Initially, I want you to read the whole thing. You're responsible for everything that is in this syllabus. But I will go over some basic stuff and some things that I think are important highlights. Otherwise, you need to read everything else. Okay, so my name is Lee Kottner. I'll be your instructor. This is where you can find my email address if you need to contact me. This tells you about our course. One of the things that you'll notice is that this is online only. This is a short course that goes from this date to the ending date, which is December 10th, 2016. And the other thing too that you're going to find is that we have office hours that are going to be by appointment online. But the other thing that we can also do, in addition to using the online Blackboard Collaborate tool or telephone, would also be if you are on campus sometimes, you're more than welcome to stop by my office hours. This semester, those hours are on Tuesdays from 2:30 to 4:30 on the Oceanside campus in room 4621. And I'm more than happy to help you, even though you're an online student. I'm more than happy to talk to you face to face if you need some help. No prerequisites are listed for this course. Okay, this is a beginning class. These are some very important administrative deadlines that I want you to pay attention to, including drop dates. One that's really important that I'll show you is we have this one for switching to pass no pass, and the pass no pass option is one where if you want to get a letter grade, or excuse me, if you want to get a pass no pass grade instead of a letter grade, you can do that. But this is not a flexible deadline. You have to do it. You have to go and switch before this deadline. And it's something that the state sets. It's not something that the school sets. So make sure that you switch if you want to switch and for that option. And the reason that you might want to switch is, like if you just want to take the class, but you don't want it to affect your GPA for some reason, maybe you don't think that you'll have your full attention to apply to the class, then you can switch to pass no pass grading, and it won't affect your GPA if you don't pass the class. I will say though, if you are counting on this class for your financial aid, you still do have to pass the class. So you would definitely need to check with your financial aid to make sure that pass no pass is really an option for you. Okay, so there are some holidays listed. You'll observe those. I just explained pass no pass. If you are trying to get a certificate here at Miracosta College in the Media Arts and Technologies program, then if you pass with a pass no pass grade, then it does still count towards your certificate. So, but it might not for other institutions depending on what kinds of credit you're trying to get. So just check if that's important to you. Instructor contact, I will get back to you pretty expediently, but this tells you what my timeline is if something's going on with me. I will let you know, but generally, I'm going to get back to you within 1 to 3 business days, so that excludes weekends and holidays. But generally, I get back to you a lot faster than that, just so you know. I usually get back within a day or less. Okay, so the course description is the same one that's you probably already read that's in the book. Basically, you're going to learn how to use Photoshop. And this is the way I teach this class is kind of like a 2D class that is digital. When I say 2D, I mean I teach it sort of as an artistic class for artists and designers. So it's not just a tool class, it is also a concept class. So you're going to be making creative stuff, and if that's sort of scary to you, then don't worry about it. It's something that a lot of people maybe at first are a little intimidated by, but then they get a lot out of it. But just know that I'm not going to solely be teaching you a tool. It's sort of like teaching someone how to write with a pencil, but not, it's not very helpful for them if they don't know how to actually write, uh, in that language. So that's the way I look at Photoshop. It is a tool that is a means to an end for creativity. So that's the way that class will be taught, or this class will be taught. And you can read through the course objectives. I'm not going to read these all to you. Same is true for the student learning outcomes, but I will talk about the specific student learning outcomes really quickly for this class. So use digital imaging tools and techniques for image editing, tonal and color correction, and special effects. Okay, that's one. Assemble multiple images into composite digital representations that incorporate color and design principles to achieve a sense of style, dimension, and depth. Okay, and then also plan, prepare, and design digital imagery that incorporates message in conjunction with artistic and technical elements of professional quality. All right, so, okay. If you need technical help or advice, there's a link right here to student services. There are tons of services that you can get through the student help desk, okay? So that's technical stuff for your computer. If you need troubleshooting issues for connectivity or anything like that, just contact the help desk. Students with disabilities, if you think that you have a disability or you know that you have a disability, please contact Disabled Students Programs and Services so that you can get your accommodation and have it sent to me. I am more than happy to help people who have any kind of special needs or additional needs. And for the most part, my class is always set up in a way that, generally speaking, extra accommodations don't need to be made, and I've structured it that way on purpose. But if you find that there are needs that are not already built into the class, please contact the DSPS program and have them send over accommodations to me. Okay, and do that please sooner rather than later, because it's a lot more helpful for me to help you earlier rather than trying to retroactively go back and help you. All right, these are some other really important services that are available to you that I would encourage you to check out. Okay, they're all links that go straight to specific places on campus. Okay, so course requirements, you need to get this textbook. It's Adobe Photoshop CC Classroom and a Book, 2015 version. And just so you know, This is actually also now available through the campus's Safari Books Online database, but only 15 people at a time can look at it. So you really still ought to get the book because we have so many students taking this section or taking MAT-110 that if everybody tried to look at it at once, you would never be able to probably get it. So you still need to buy the book, but just so you know, if you did need to preview it, you could look at the first couple of chapters maybe through Google Books. You can also try to log into the library and go to the databases and look for Safari Tech Books Online, and then you could just paste and post this in, and you can review it. Okay, so software and computer, you need to get these browsers. Really, you just kind of need one. I use Chrome, so you can just use one if you want. Okay, where to buy the software? You want to get your software at collegebuys.org if you want to save some money. The thing is, you would have to buy it all, the annual subscription all at once, and so it is, you know, a chunk of money all at once. It's somewhere in the ballpark of $150 or something like that. That's not anywhere close to exact, but it is a significantly discounted price over what you will pay at adobe.com. But if you wanted to do something that was less expensive, like if you wanted to get the plan that was month to month, you can also get the photography plan as well. You can go straight to Adobe's website. There are two different plans that you can look for. One is the full Creative Cloud package, and you can do it month to month where you don't have to pay your subscription all at once. It is a little more expensive. It's approximately $20 a month, or 20 or 29, forget. But if you do the photography package, it is $10 a month. And it might be a little bit more if you don't pay for it all at once. So you can look at the different software options and buy whatever you think suits you. If you cannot afford to buy the software all at once, or excuse me, if you cannot afford to buy the software at all, there are some options, like you could go to the library, but you're gonna have to really plan your time well because the library's computers are not open all the time. So you know, I think that they're not even open on Sundays unless they change that. So it's kind of hard for students sometimes to get their assignments done if that's all they're depending on. But it is possible to do this class with just the library computers. But I would suggest that if you can afford it at all, to buy it for your own personal computer, get Photoshop for yourself. And the other thing too is that there is a 30-day trial, and since this is a short class, you could do a 30-day trial and then go month to month, and that would save you a lot of money so that you only get out paying like a 1 or 2 months worth of maybe the photography program. That's pretty affordable. Okay, so completion of work. I will let you know right off the bat that this class, you know, I do expect for you to complete your work, and I'm going to grade your work as if it's completed whenever you turn it in, even if it's not complete. So, but I do allow people to go back and revise their work because it is my goal that you have good work for your portfolio and that you learn. So I'm not going to penalize you. You know, if you turn stuff in on time, even if it's not 100%, you will have the opportunity to go back later and turn in a better version for an improved grade. So I do allow for that. Now, something that you need to realize is that you know, you've got to allow for like 10 to 20 hours outside of this class every week. I mean, it is a doing class. It's not just a reading class or something like that where, you know, maybe you can skip over some of the stuff. You really have to spend a lot of time on this class, so just be aware of that. Okay, course timeline. You can click on this right now and it'll take you to the page. This is the detailed schedule. All right, so that's one place that you can find it, so that you'll see up here, right, that you've got this option. It has a place where you can jump to each week really quickly, right, like that. Okay, but you can see for week 1 what we're going to be doing, and I give you links that are contextual links within each of these sections, so that if I tell you to do something, I typically will give you a link so you can click to it and go to it. All right, and so just, you know, I would recommend that you go ahead and bookmark this detailed schedule in your browser. get a bookmark, because then that way you can just always go straight to it when you need it. All right, you don't have to necessarily always go through Blackboard, not always. Okay, so so I just jumped back to where we were in the syllabus. So, and then there's the thing about discussion boards. And so the discussion boards are going to be a link right there within Blackboard. And if you look in the weekly schedule link, then you'll always see a link to whenever you have to do like an initial post on a discussion board, or when you have to do responses. So I've got all those due dates listed, and then it's also, all those things are also going to be listed on the due dates link, right? So the due dates link is something that's separate, that's like just every due date at a glance, whereas the detailed weekly schedule is going to be like everything that you should be doing. And I try to help you keep organized so that you can basically stay on top of your timeline in a really consistent way. All right, so I'll let you read more about the discussion boards. Asynchronous versus synchronous. So synchronous means that, basically we're all online together, sort of talking to each other at once, using a tool like Collaborate, which is in Blackboard. Asynchronous means that you're typically doing stuff on your own. You're watching recorded sessions, at any time, that kind of thing. Most of this course is going to be asynchronous. There might be some options, like when you need to do office hours. There are also going to be some times where, I'll hold lab hours where people can come in and participate, and that would be synchronous. But for the most part, everything is going to be asynchronous in this class. All right, so, and then we do critiques in the class, and those are going to be in the form of discussion boards. So, and that is so that you guys can learn how to, both give intelligent criticism and feedback, as well as receive it. So, and it helps everybody make their work a lot better. Okay, grading policy. I will, as I've said, accept late work, but I do expect that, you turn it in within a reasonable amount of time, and I will evaluate your grade. But the one exception is for the final project. I do not accept late work because it is the end of the semester and I have to get my grades turned in. So that's the one exception. So it's really not in your best interest to get behind in this class, because in the end, you can't turn your stuff in late. So anyway, class participation, you must participate in this class. If you don't, you will be in danger of being dropped, and that is not just because my feelings get hurt or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's because I'm obligated to drop people who are not showing up for class and not participating. So participation is also followed, or is also monitored through things that you turn in for a grade. And if you're not participating in graded things, then basically you are probably going to get dropped from the class. So just be aware of that. All right, this is the grading breakdown for the course. All right, and then again, here's at a glance links. This is going to take you to that at a glance page if you click on it. And you see here, this is a little different. It doesn't give you all the detail, but it gives you dates and days and times and the name of the thing that is due. Okay, and it looks like I left off a quotation mark at the end of some of these, but anyway, so I'll try to fix that. But yeah, so this is going to be the at a glance due dates. Again, this is something else that you might want to bookmark. Okay, let's go back, and then you can scroll down and see what the grading criteria is. And down at the bottom of this, I will put a link to the course orientation. Okay. So I just jumped back over here to Blackboard, and that was the syllabus link. And I already showed you the due dates link, but if I click on that again, you'll see it takes you straight to that quick little due dates, right? So let's jump back there again, and you'll see that we have the weekly schedule. Also, again, I showed you what that looks like, right, where we have all of this really specific stuff. All right, and then discussions. We'll open the discussions in Blackboard, and you'll notice that one of the first things that you're required to do in this class is within the first 2 days of the class, right? So by Tuesday, the class starts on Monday, so by Tuesday, one of the things that you have to do to avoid being dropped from the class, this is sort of like showing up and attending the first day of an on-ground class, is that you have to create your initial post. And that's what this A part is, and it tells you what you need to do and how to do it to create your first post. And basically, you're going to be telling us a little bit about yourself, but you need to answer these exact prompts, okay? So that is something that you must do. And then by the end of the week, what you'll be doing is you'll actually be responding to your classmates by the following criteria of B and C. All right, so you'll find somebody who you have something in common with, maybe somebody you don't have something in common with, respond to them, and that's a way that you can get to meet your classmates, for instance, okay? So anyway, and then you'll see that there are also those same links over here too. So if I also want to check out the assignments for the class, I can click on assignment information. This isn't where I turn the assignments in, but this is where I can find out more about the assignments. So, and there are two places that you can find out about assignments. One is inside of Blackboard, and another is going to be on my website. So for instance, if I were to click on inside of Blackboard, click on assignment info, it'll take me here, and I can click on this folder and it'll show me information inside of here. All of this same information is also available on the assignment page that is on the website. So if for some reason Blackboard were to go down, you could still get this information. And Blackboard does go down actually for maintenance during the wee hours of the morning. And that's one of the reasons that I keep a separate website, is so that you guys can still have access to stuff if you are one of those night owls who works late in the evening, early in the morning. So if you were to, for instance, look at our detailed schedule and you wanted to learn more, like when you are reading through this about all the stuff that you have to do, you're going to eventually, see that, oh, there's this A1 image corrections and repair, and this link will actually take you to the version that is on my teaching website. But you'll see it has all the same exact information, okay? So has all the same information that's in Blackboard. All right, just so you understand that this information is the same as what's on the website. Okay, so and that's how you can learn about these different assignments. Now, if we go back to assignment info, you'll see that we have some basic assignment setups here. We've got discussion boards that will take you back to the discussion boards. All of these different discussions end up comprising 10% of your total grade for the semester. So down here, though, we have these other ones. The first assignment 1A, just so you understand that this is part 1 of your first exercise. All right, but the reason I split them into 2 is because you need to get to a certain place that's really important, actually, before you move on to the 1B. And I want you to actually turn it in, because I want to be able to look at it and give you feedback, so that you don't do the entire assignment the whole way through without sort of meeting certain criteria. So it's separated into 1A and 1B. 1B is the final of exercise 1. That's what you'll finally get your assignment based off of. But 1A, there is a place for you to turn in 1A. You just don't get an actual grade for 1A. I will give you feedback though on 1A. And basically, if you were to take a look at 1A, what this is going to be is you take a very damaged photograph and then you get it finally looking to a place in grayscale that is going to be all cleaned up like this, where all of these blemishes are gone. And you would be kind of surprised perhaps at the level of difficulty that this is for a beginner. So one of the things I don't want you to do is I don't want you to immediately, first off, just start with this assignment. I want you to go through the actual schedule that I've outlined for you. And I want you to follow the schedule, because it's going to have some other kinds of exercisey, like practice lessons, I should say, not exercises, but practice lessons that you can do to kind of prepare you for this level of assignment. And then once you've done those practice lessons, you'll be better prepared to start with this. And I do, down at the bottom, have some guidance. I have like 4 video tutorials that kind of show you one process, like one approach that you could take to correcting this, because this is not necessarily easy. And one of the reasons I throw this hardball at you at the beginning of the semester is that I want you to understand that Photoshop is not magic. It is a tool. right? There are always going to be jobs, like even like say in construction, where no matter how good your tools are, you have to have skill in knowing how to use those tools in order for the outcome to be good, to be a good one. And so Photoshop is no different. And I want you to understand that there are some things that really, that like, it's not magic. It will save you time in some ways, but it actually makes certain kinds of projects doable versus not doable, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be doable like in a matter of quick amounts of time, right? So anyway, that's what this assignment's about. So plan on spending some time on it. There's a breadcrumb trail in Blackboard you can jump to, so you can go back to the last thing where you were. It's like up here. All right, so um, all right, so 1B, for instance, that would be the next logical progression. See, you would start with where you ended up in 1A, and then you're going to colorize that, and I show you how to do that. So you take something that has no color, and you apply color in a way that it looks realistic, right? And then there's some more tutorials down here as well. Okay, and then the other assignments, compositing, masking shadows, that one is you have to create something. Again, this is a technical one. So these first two assignments, these exercises, they are technical, right? There's no specific creativity involved. These are skill building. And then when I start to get into what I refer to as projects here, those are going to have a lot more to do with creative skills. And then you're going to be synthesizing some of the skills that you learned in these first two exercises. You're synthesizing those and also using it in a creative way to create your other work. So for instance, if we looked at conceptual space, for instance, you would see that basically on this one you have to pick a word from a list, and then you end up making a work of art basically with compositing. And if you wanted to see some examples of previous student work, it takes you out to the instructor website, and you can see some examples of things that people have done here. Okay, so you could, take a look at that. Like for instance, we could take a look at this one, right? And anyway, so I'm going to go backwards, and let's go back to Blackboard, and let's just jump back to the announcements page again. So those are the assignment info pieces of information, so you can learn about the assignment and what you need to do to complete them. Now, if you wanted to turn assignments in, there's this big red button down here that says turn in assignments. If you click on this, this is where you actually are going to turn your assignment in. So like for instance, you see submit exercise 1A here. It doesn't have a grade percentage value next to it because like I said, this phase is not graded, but I'm going to give you feedback, very specific feedback, so that you know how to proceed in the second part of the assignment. Because a lot of times students will think that they've done enough, but they haven't. And so I'll give you specific feedback about what you need to do before you continue forward. Okay, so what you would do to turn something in is you would click on this link where it says turn in your completed exercise 1 here, and then you would write your comments here, and you would browse to attach a file. You'd browse your computer, and you would upload your file, your PSD file. And I tell you exactly, these are the instructions that I tell you exactly what you need to do, okay? And then you would submit it, and then you've uploaded it. If for some reason you have too much trouble later in the semester uploading really large files, let me know, and there's another option, there's another workaround. So anyway, that's where you're going to turn your assignments in. Everything can always be found on this launch page with these quick links or on the sidebar menus, sidebar menu links, okay? And then there's another, if you ever like forget where you got a demo or something, there's also in Blackboard like this composite where it says lectures demos. You can always go to that and you can see that I've got these things broken down into sections for you. So you can always go back like that. Okay, now course orientation, there's actually a page, but before I click on that, if you were to look at online office hours, let's click on online office hours really quickly. And what that does is it takes you to the collaborate part of Blackboard. And typically if we're gonna meet, what I'll do is I will either create a session that will show up down here, okay, under scheduled sessions, or more likely what we'll do is you'll just join this room that says MAT-110, okay? And then you'll just join this room and we'll be able to work with Collaborate. Okay, and then be sure that in advance you want to go ahead and set your computer up before it's time to meet with me. So you could always click join room right, at any time, and you can walk through the process of installing the Java application, the Blackboard launcher, and so forth. Even if I'm not going to be in the room at that time, you can always do that at any time, so that later in the semester your computer will be set up, and it walks you through the process of what you need to do. Okay, so there's that, and then there's check my grades. If you click on this, anytime I've graded something, it will show up with comments there. I can't show you this because I'm not a student. It'll tell me it's invalid, but basically it'll show you columns with grade information and feedback. Now where it says course orientation, if I click on that, that is a website page externally that you can come to at any time. I like to keep this separate in case there are people who, for some reason, are not currently enrolled in the Blackboard course yet. Maybe the servers at school for enrollment haven't synced up or whatever. So you can always come back here, and I put some really quick important links for getting oriented to the class, syllabus, of course. You're responsible for everything in it. The help desk, Blackboard tutorials, how to add and drop classes with permission numbers and stuff like that. And then this class introductions link. If you're already logged into Blackboard, any link that I give you that goes straight to something specific into Blackboard, it'll actually go specifically straight to that thing. But if you're not logged in and you, like for instance, were to click here, then what it would do is it would just take you to the Blackboard login page, and then you would have to navigate to it. So if I were to click right here, it would take me straight to the discussion forum, okay? Down here, I put some frequently asked questions so that you can please read them. For instance, a really big one that people always get messed up, at least one person oftentimes will get confused, and so I put a big FAQ here. Are textbook lessons graded? No, they are not. I tell you in the list of assignments of things you need to do, and I'll tell you to do practice lessons in the textbook, but I'm not going to grade those. So don't confuse those with actual assignments, okay? That's really important. Those things that are in the textbook, they are valuable lessons to do, and those are the things I want you to do before you actually attempt to do the harder actual assignments that are graded, because the stuff in the book is sort of like the easier, like just getting to know how to use the tool, right? And they make it simple on you and they tell you exactly what to do, but that's not the real world. So in my assignments, I throw some harder curveballs or hard balls or whatever, fastballs at you, I guess, because those are the real world things that you need to know how to actually do. Okay, so anyway, there's some other things that you need to read down there. And if you were to click, for instance, on this class introductions Blackboard forum, like if you click on that, it takes you straight to the discussion board if you're already logged into Blackboard. If you are not, however, again, it would show you the Blackboard login screen, and then you'd have to go find this page, okay? So anytime you're, doing stuff for the class, it might behoove you just to log into Blackboard before you start even clicking around my website, because I might have something that links straight to something that is hidden behind the Blackboard firewall. So anyway, all right, so that is that's the majority of the course. One of the things that you'll always be able to find are, for the projects, examples of student work, and so that you can see what other people have done to help you. And feel free at any time to always reach out to me, ask a question through email. There's also a discussion board right here called Technical Design Discussion, and it's not graded, but at any time you can always go and post something right there. And just so you know, also, for instance, if you wanted to, like subscribe to any of these, so you can be emailed with things that people post, then you can always go, let's say, click inside of technical discussions. You can always click on the subscribe button and allow yourself to subscribe to it. Now I'm subscribed to it, and anytime somebody would post something there, it would email it to me so that I would be able to see that somebody had posted something. And that might be valuable, like when we're doing critiques and stuff and you want to be able to respond to people. Okay, so anyway, that's an overview of the class. Let me know if you have any questions. And always feel free to set up office hours with me, either in person or on the phone or online. We can use the Collaborate tool and do screen sharing so that I can help you. Okay? All right, I look forward to having a class with you.